Now to a segment from our Confirmed team. Those are people here at CBS News who help us separate fact from fiction. Today, we're taking a look at facial recognition. It's been getting a lot of attention lately because authorities used it to help locate and capture one of the 12 inmates who broke out of a New Orleans jail last month. Now, it sounds like a good use of the technology, but there are some groups like the ACLU that are raising red flags about privacy and potential misuse. So how concerned should we be? Here to help us make sense of it all is Anna Schecter. She covers crime and safety for CBS News. Anna, good morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
All right, so on one hand, it's great, caught these criminals. Yep. On the other, do we really want the government, essentially, using facial recognition technology, having our faces in their database, especially if we're law-abiding citizens?
Well, it's already happening. So the future is now here. So this case in New Orleans is really interesting because of the way the technology works. There were 200 cameras all around the city of New Orleans that are actually moving around, rotating 360. They can detect a face from 700 feet away. So it's kind of like a camera at a live sporting event that can like zoom in on the quarterback or somebody in the crowd. That's how that's working, and it's sort of taking these images of people all around the city. So you see right there, that's extremely high definition footage. Now, our viewers might be thinking, wow, do I really want that really high resolutions where they can see everything, you know, any blemish on my face? But what police say is that the higher resolution actually helps them catch the right person. Because remember, we have seen cases where the facial recognition got the wrong person. In fact, back before 2020, we had a few cases where people with a darker complexion were misidentified, arrested. You had innocent people apprehended by the police, which can be a really traumatic thing. The technology has improved. These tech companies that provide the technology to police, they've been working hard to sort of fix that, because this is a billion-dollar industry, guys.
I don't fully understand what the big deal is about facial recognition. Like, we're on camera, I mean, clearly, but like, we're on camera in society anyway all the time. The government already knows what we look like if you have an ID.
I get, like, my wife's an investigative journalist. She has been resistant to using even facial recognition to open up her iPhone or Clear. She doesn't like the idea of what the technology could be used for.
And what is the risk? What bad things could it be used for?
I think the real question is, where does the line get drawn? Because right now, outside of Atlanta, there's a facility. They're building drones that can go, for police, that can go inside buildings. So it's like, what's next? I think that's what people are really unsettled about. The worst case scenario is that you get pulled over at gunpoint. That can escalate into, you know, a situation where somebody gets hurt. I've interviewed people.
Pulled over at gunpoint if it's a case of mistaken identity.
A mistaken identity. So if you are flagged as a suspect and you are completely innocent, and I've interviewed a bunch of people, a handful of people. We at CBS News and on our team, we have collected more than a dozen cases going back to 2015 of people who were misidentified by police because of technology. Usually it's a license plate reader mistake. So a 0 gets mistaken for an O, numbers and letters get, you know, when the technology isn't as good, that's where the mistakes happen.
But the facial recognition technology is better, you're saying?
It's better than it used to be, but look in Detroit, I mean, you had a man whose face was matched with surveillance footage from years before, and he was then arrested by police. And of course, that brings on lawsuits. It's not good for law enforcement. It's certainly not good for those people. That's a very traumatic thing.
It is.
And they have to live with that for the rest of their lives.
Thank you so much. We could talk about this all day.